stars. And just two lefts and a hard right from the Hollywood sun.
Come here, Daddy. Oh, you look so good.
I meant the other direction. Harrison. Hang up. Harrison. On the highway.
All righty, it is 1,600 hours. Make that 1,800 hours. Make that 2,100 hours East Coast time. Harrison with you. You are watching and listening to Go Harrison as we stream live everywhere. We are the companion, of course, to our Monday broadcast from 3 to 5 Pacific time on KPFK 90.7 FM in Los Angeles. We do this nightly so that we can offer you some of the stellar and exquisite talent that abides and abounds out there. And tonight I want to bring to you a guy, and I just finished watching the YouTube videos again. Anybody who can do Richard Nixon as a shadow puppet is somebody we want to have on here. Also Jack Kennedy, Bill Clinton, the rest of it. And I want to welcome a puppeteer, a ventriloquist, a cartoonist, a caricaturist, a basic magician. His cartoons and caricatures having been published in more than 25 American and Indian newspapers. His name is Sati Achath and has also appeared on numerous TV channels here in the U.S., including NBC, America's Got Talent, The Late Show with David Letterman, has 4 master's degrees only, 4 of them, in English literature, international relations, business, and finance. So he's going to be our man about town, our ubiquitor explainer of how things work, how they're put together, and sleight of hand, and this notion of prestidigitation, how somebody can show this over here and do that over there and get away with it, and that might even have political ramifications and financial ones as well. He speaks only 6 languages, so he does get a free pass and a nod from us. 6 is probably considered a lot, for sure, seeing that I think you'll agree, Sati, most Americans speak 1. About half of 1, actually, American English. Was a quarter-finalist in 2008's America's Got Talent that I mentioned, and is currently working as a project evaluation specialist for the World Bank in Washington, D.C. Other than that, he's a layabout. Just kidding. Sati, I want to welcome you. Probably the smartest person on here right now. It's exciting.
Thank you very much.
Well, speaking 6 languages, et cetera, I think that speaks for itself vitally. How is it that an artist, typically artists are very abstract, but you have very specific talents as well, banking, finance, and hand puppets. How do you reconcile all of that?
I think this is a very good combination, because basically I'm an artist. And I was good in studies as a student. So somehow I was able to combine both together so that there is a good balance or relationship between the academic as well as the artistic pursuits. So I found it very easy, one helping the other.
Do you think that that might be a cultural phenomenon? In this country, we don't really urge people to be brilliant or scientific or master languages, even master our own language. We just don't push that. But I'm wondering if this is a cultural phenomenon in India where excellence is considered good, isn't it?
Yeah, partly so, because in India, most of the people speak 3-4 languages. That is very normal. And you can see many people, especially from the south of India, having 3-4 master's degrees also. So I think it is partly cultural, I agree. But I never thought about it that way. But now that you have mentioned this, I think there is some ingredient to that, the culture.
Well, I would imagine you're certainly not going to see that because you're trapped in there. And for you, it's just natural to do this and that, finance, elocution, speak multiple, So what else is new, right? So it's a natural language for you. But for the average civilian going, holy shit, if I could speak more than 1 language, if I could actually read and think at the same time, I'd be way ahead. So you're in this sort of superlative category of a human able to do complex things and multiples of complex things. And I often find that these are cultural phenomena. Likewise, the Swiss. tend to be able to speak multiple languages. They've got extraordinary skills in science. They also appreciate art. Zurich having been the birthplace of Dada and the Dada movement. Karl Marx lived there. I mean, they have kind of this vast understanding. And that's not to say the culture gets that alone, but I think often environment tends to give greater permission to what you natively, your native talents, can actually express themselves if given the right rub and massage.
That is true. This is more of an individual quality also. For example, my parents have 10 children, but I am the only one who is a little different from all my other siblings, So somehow in my case, because of my personal trait or individual quality, I wanted to learn new things all the time, I keep on learning things, both academic as well as artistic things,
It's interesting because many people run on an equation of E over I, emotion over intellect. We call those Republicans in America. Then we have people that have an inverse, which is I over E, intellect over emotion. And many of us aren't able to blend them. And it sounds like you've got a nice blending. I'm sure you're passionate about things as well, and you have deep feelings as well as this fine mind. How does the average person figure out how to blend those two? It's an easy question.
Yeah, because it's an individual trait. Some people are very passionate about what they like to do. Some people are not at all interested in knowing anything about what is happening in the world. So it's an individual trait. In my case, maybe I was really gifted to have these sort of skills and talents, and I have built them over a period of time, So the basic seed was always in me, and over a period of time, I kept on adding new things. And even now, I have not stopped learning. Formal academic education, I am not doing anymore, but I am learning new areas like musical instruments. For example, I am learning piano for the last 3 years. I have learned flute. I have learned, the Indian percussion instrument called the tabla. Like that, 4 or 5 instruments I have been learning for the last few years. So I kept on, because somehow I'm very passionate about all these things. So there is a curiosity element in me, If somebody is doing very well, for example, any particular instrument, I really envy them, oh my God, this person is doing this, playing this instrument so well. Why not I try to learn it?
We're talking to World Bank in Washington, D.C.'s project evaluation specialist. I just love the counterpoint of your life, who also has written a book called A Mini Encyclopedia on Celebrities, Hollywood Celebrities, Basic Things You've Always Wanted to Know, Volume 1. I really love the kind of pedestrian stuff that's interesting to you, and then the highly complex talents that you possess, which I think better allow you to dabble in the pedestrian stuff because you could do it with a certain graceful expertise, I suppose. Why are you interested in celebrities when you work with the World Bank? You could play musical instruments, and you're really quite smart.
Thank you very much for the appreciation. I have always been interested in knowing about the personal details about celebrities, And my feeling is that people all over the world are curious to know about the personal details of celebrities. For example, you may be interested, or a layman may be interested. What is the date of birth of George Clooney? Where is Brad Pitt from? How much education he has got? That curiosity element is there all over the world.
How much education does Brad Pitt have?
The interesting fact that I came across while writing this book was that out of 55 celebrities covered in this book, 15 of them have dropped out of college. Some of them just in the last semester before graduation, they dropped out. Brad Pitt was also a college student. In the last semester, he dropped out. He was a journalism and communications student, undergrad. And he had the dream of becoming an actor. So to pursue his dream of becoming an actor, he dropped out. Harrison Ford, like that, he dropped out of college just before graduation, And most of the people, many of them dropped out of high school even to pursue a career in acting. So,
now, isn't Harrison Ford, he also is a carpenter. He loves to cut wood and glue it together.
Right. He's a professional carpenter because after dropping out of college to take care of his family, he became a professional carpenter, and he was making a living by doing carpentry work, for many people, many celebrities in Hollywood. So he has this combination of, good education plus other, non-artistic thing like carpentry. And till he was well established, he was doing that as a profession. And even now, as a hobby, he does carpentry.
Do you tend to follow celebrities who have meaningful lives? Like Brad Pitt does good stuff on Earth. He showed up in New Orleans after the devastating Hurricane Katrina. Sean Penn famously still does, a lot of time in Haiti. A lot of them, Harrison Ford certainly is a nice guy. I'm not sure what his philanthropic efforts are because they don't seem to be published anywhere. Like you never see Harrison Ford in the gossip magazines, just like you never see Gene Hackman. These guys have made, Gene Hackman has probably made more movies than anybody else. There's no gossip about the guy, none, zero. Why is that, I wonder?
No, some people are, very savvy about the media, and the media is very much interested in following them or chasing them also, That's the reason. Some people keep a low-profile life. For example, Harrison Ford does a lot of philanthropic work. He's an environmentalist. And there are some species of insects named after him also, And he's a licensed pilot. So he does voluntary work of rescuing people in need of emergency. He flies his own plane and helps people to transport. Some people fall sick, he immediately takes out his plane and takes them to the doctor's hospital, or the emergency situations.
Good for him.
Yeah.
That's wonderful stuff. That's using your assets in a very positive way, rather than just building yourself a castle somewhere and being secluded.
Yeah, right. So many celebrities do, philanthropic, charitable work. Some will go noticed, some will go unnoticed. That's all, and they can afford to do that also. When they have a lot of money and they have a good heart, they try to make use of their money for a good cause.
Let's talk for a second, and I want to pronounce your last name correctly to be honorable gringo here in the United States. Do you pronounce it Achath?
Correct. Sati Achath.
We're talking to Sati Achath. He is well known. If you go on YouTube and just Google him, he'll come up everywhere. There are tons of videos. He's got 4 master's degrees, English literature, finance, business, international relationships, speaks 6 languages, has been published in more than 25 American and Indian newspapers. This guy has got extraordinary skills and talents from top to bottom. One of his interests happens to be watching and paying attention to celebrities and trying to bring out the more positive side of who they are. One of these celebrities, Sati, would be Whoopi Goldberg, who certainly is a household brand name, but I don't think a lot of people know that she actually started in a mortuary where dead people, where corpses are laid out on slabs. What the hell was she doing in a mortuary?
That was before she became an actress. She was making a living by working in a mortuary. And she has got a doctorate in literature also from New York University, So she's a highly accomplished person. So
she was in the makeup division of the mortuary business. She would spackle on some number 8 pancake, suture up the lips, close the jaws, powder it up, and make it look like it's alive. That's that's not a childlike skill, is it?
No, that is a real skill and a qualification. to work like that. For example, Angelina Jolie, her as a child, her dream was to become a funeral director, and
Really?
yeah, and she took some specialized courses to become a funeral director. So people have different dreams and wishes.
Yes, I'm seeing a very interesting dark side to the greatest actors.
Yeah,
A lot of it having to do with death or representing death as life. Very kind of interesting and certainly worth some deeper scrutiny. Let's take a look at James Bond, Pierce Brosnan, who was the James Bond for many years before it shifted into another and now another Daniel Craig. But this guy, let's say he was on stage, but not exactly saving the world. It had a more pyrotechnical flavor to it.
He is a professional fire eater, and he was working as a fire eater in a circus company in London. And he's a very good artist. He paints and he's an illustrator, and he has got a degree in commercial art. So even now he does a lot of paintings. He does painting exhibitions. So people have many talents like that.
You mentioned Brad Pitt earlier, and there's somebody who cannot evade the public spotlight. But one of his first jobs, and this is probably before or during the time that he was studying journalism, I think he used to slip into chicken suits. Is that right?
Right. That is after dropping out of college. He moved to Hollywood and Los Angeles area, and he was working in a Mexican restaurant dressed in a chicken suit to attract customers, And he worked also as a chauffeur for a short while, before he was established, So this is their gap between dropping out of college and establishing themselves as actors,
We're talking to Sati Achath. He's a cartoonist, a caricaturist, a shadow puppeteer. He can do Richard M. Nixon with his fists behind a white screen, throw light behind it. It will frighten all the kids, make maidens scream, and dogs howl at the moon. He's a ventriloquist and a magician. Can you throw your voice for Billy Foster, who is our minister of all things technical? You'll see him leaning back with his Superman shirt on. Can you demonstrate a little ventriloquistic monkey shines for us?
Yeah, I can talk to him without moving my lips.
Hi, Dilip. How are you doing? Good to see you. And you are talking to Mr. Harrison. He's a nice guy.
I love it. I just love it. Let's talk for a second about, again, I love the counterpoint that you're in the World Bank, but now you're going to tell us about zodiac signs.
Yeah.
This, again, feels wonderfully pedestrian, but there's a lot to learn, and there is definitely general interest in this.
Yeah.
You obviously have a belief that there's something legit about zodiac signs.
I never used to believe in zodiac signs until recently, in the sense that my daughter, I have only one child, one daughter, and she's a Scorpio. And Scorpios have many common characteristics, And I have a lot of my friends who are also Scorpios. So there is a lot of common characteristics among all these zodiac sign people, So I believe that there is some science behind it.
Well, I'm a double Virgo with feces rising or something like that. And my people allegedly will find a table, and we like to do this. There, much better placement now. I can relax.
Yeah.
There's a kind of odd fastidiousness. And I think it is, I mean, I've seen enough evidence of it that my characteristics are very Virgo-ish versus the Taurus, or like, what sign are you, for instance?
I'm Aries.
So do you find that a lot of people who are Aries have, a skill level at least more similar to yours, or that more Aries have more talent than other signs?
No, I have not noticed that aspect of it, but the general characteristics like friendliness, ambition, and drive, and all those things, I have noticed among Aryans. You know.
Okay, so I'll play. How about Libra?
No, I don't know much about it as such. In fact, my wife suggested that it's a good idea to put the zodiac sign of all the celebrities. Then I thought I like that idea, so that's why I put it. Not that I know much about astrology as such, you know.
What of all the celebrities that you've in your volume 1, and I'm guessing volume 2 is going to be out soon, and you can go to Amazon.com and just put in Hollywood celebrities, basic things you've always wanted to know. Volume 1 are just Hollywood celebrities, and up will come Sati Achath's book, Achath. That is how I pronounce it, right? I just want to do that right. And you'll see just a wonderful breakdown of so many names that you know with histories that you never imagined. What would be probably the most stunning thing that you discovered in celebrities?
The stunning thing is the same point I mentioned that many of them were willing to take risks to the extent of dropping out of college or high school to chase their dream. And finally, their dreams were fulfilled because they took the risk. That is the main lesson I came across while writing this book.
So would you be able to sort of imagine what the Disney magic is, the fairy dust, implicit in these people, where the ones that became superstars, what's the thing that allows somebody to become a superstar?
Talents and a stroke of luck. Talent alone is not enough, but luck plays a major part, I believe, from my own personal experience, you know. So,
yeah, right place, right time.
Right place and right time, and you know who you know and sort of thing. Because there are so many people who are as talented as anybody else, you know. But some people come to the top. So hard work is of course important. Then your own talent and quality, you know, personal qualities are important. But luck is an important factor.
So let me ask sort of a closing question, because I really love what you're able to do and how you look at the world, and I'm grateful that you're offering us this cool information, and we definitely are really enjoying the experience with you right now. Let's talk a little bit about prestidigitation, sleight of hand, as a musician, and let's turn it into a political stage. Where would you say that a lot of politicians are doing magic tricks on the stage? They're showing you this over here, but actually they're doing this over here. Is it the same kind of principle, or is it different?
That is a common rule of politics, whether it is in India or America or anywhere. Politicians, they have a very common quality. You know, they say one thing, they promise one thing, and they do something else when they come to power. But I don't think it has anything to do with the magic. You know, this is the basic ingredient they should have to succeed as a politician, you know. So we cannot completely believe what they offer or what they promise, you know. So I don't think there's anything much to do with the magic.
But is it, well, I guess I'm just sort of equating it to the principle that is employed in magic, where you basically distract somebody from what's really real so that you can convince them what is not real is actually real. And it must, I mean, wouldn't many of them, if they had the dexterity, the manual dexterity, they probably would be pretty good magicians, I would think.
Yeah, I agree with you that way. It's a distraction.
And so how does that technique work? Because not everybody can distract people. They just can't. They're just not capable or believable that way. How do you do that? Like, what's the secret?
No,
what's the secret?
They should have the gift of the gab. You know, for example, President Bill Clinton, he is so charming, you know. So, and he has the gift of the gab. So that's why there are good politicians and not so good politicians, you know. It depends on how much you can charm people and captivate the audience. So if you have that quality, then you are bound to succeed as a politician, you know.
kind of like a snake charmer, which you have in India. How does that work, by the way? I've always wondered, are these hooded cobras actually loving the flute music, or is something else happening there?
Yeah, the vibration from it is a unique musical instrument, and the vibration from that instrument resonates with the snakes, so they are captivated by the music coming from that instrument. It's like a flute. You would have seen that, a typical snake charmer plays that one. So that's how it works.
Do you think the snake is actually hearing notes and tones, or is it reacting to the vibration?
The vibration. The song has its own vibration, the notes. So that particular vibration attracts them. That's why they come. I have seen them, the snake charmers playing this instrument, and the snakes come and spread their hood, and it's easy to catch the snake like that.
Couldn't you use a tuning fork or a mechanical, a sound generating device to achieve the same end?
It's a very interesting, these people are not at all educated people, they are from remote villages, and this art or science has been going on for hundreds of years. So what made them discover this quality, I don't know, it's really amazing, how they are able to come up with this idea,
Well, it really is, and what a odd experiment when it first started. And the hooded cobra is among the most dangerous snakes, like the king cobra. One bite and you're dead, period. No exceptions. So it's risky business.
Yeah. It is like a tribe, there are certain sects of people in India, family wise, tradition wise, they carry from generation to generation doing this snake charming profession,
So let's end with this note, Sati, and again, we're really glad to have you here. Let's talk about the nature of talent. We've got about 3 more minutes. You have such an abundance of it. You're exploding with the stuff. You're overwhelmed with it. It's insane, the magnificence with which you can articulate your various, many, endless, boundless talents and reach. Do you understand talent? Do you get that it's a gift, or did you actually develop these things, or how do you describe that to somebody who's trying to figure out, well, shit, how do I do something?
I think most of the talents can be developed. For example, I learned ventriloquism only recently, in the sense about 15 years ago. Magic I learned after coming to USA. Musical instruments I learned in the last 4 or 5 years. So basically it is the interest or the passion to learn something that counts more than inborn gift or talent. Talent, maybe some people are talented, even as a child, but talent, even without talent, you can build up a lot of skills on your own with dedication and perseverance. In my case, that has been the case,
I would think that the common denominator then is passion, is the capability of taking interest in the world around you and the events of that world. If you're disinterested or disaffected, then you probably are going to have a very small range of talents. If you're fascinated by everything, you're going to want to have access to it. That access may manifest as bona fide talent.
I absolutely agree with you. It is the passion, the desire, the determination to learn things that counts most. The rest of the things is supplement to your hard work and dedication.
Well, let's wrap this up and tell us what your next projects are so that we can follow you along like proper Cocker Spaniels.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm writing another book on musicians now. The same pattern I am following, just like these Hollywood celebrities. So I'm writing a book on singers, on top 40, 50 singers. I'm going to work on it. So you can expect another book from me in the next 5, 6 months.
All right. Well, maybe you'll grace us with a return appearance, and we can take a peek at your new book.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll be happy to do that anytime.
All right. Thank you so much, Sati. We're very grateful to have you here. Do you have I know you have a website, which is spelled SatiAchath.com, which I believe is right there.
All right.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We're really grateful, and have a wonderful day, and thank you for living a full and rich life and demonstrating to the rest of us that it's actually doable.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you, Billy, also for making these arrangements. It's nice talking to you. I really enjoyed talking to you, Harrison.
Thank you. We really enjoyed talking to you. And isn't it wonderful that Billy can pull us all into the 22nd century the way he does?
It's absolutely amazing. You know, he's really good. Please say hello to Jared also, huh?
Right. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later then, my friend.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thanks again.
Well, thank you, Billy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.